We are glad you joined us. We had to go get the toddler distracted. He tends to yell now when we stream. Coming up to this, I wished I had decided to do services earlier in the day before I was starving. And this isn't going to be traditional services. We're going to read some poetry and meditate a little, gentle, light in the day. Yeah.
So, let's begin with a little meditation to ground all of ourselves. This is a day of looking inward. So, we'll begin our services looking inward. So, if you'd all close your eyes. And first, breathe. Focus on your breath coming in and out. Just focus on your breath as it is. No need to force anything at all. And first, I'd like you to pay attention to your toes. Just any sensation you have in your toes. If you're wearing shoes, perhaps you feel the tightness of the shoes on your feet. If you're barefoot, perhaps you feel the texture of the ground underneath them. If you're outside, perhaps you feel the grass and the wind or the sun. And next, move your attention to your legs. And just notice any sort of feeling you have in your legs. The skin of your legs, or the muscles of your legs, or your bones. If you're sitting right now, perhaps you feel a chair or a cushion or the ground beneath you. Just notice any sensation you have at all. Just be aware of your legs and nothing else. Next, move your attention up to your hips and your pelvis. Without judging or even naming, just notice whatever you feel in that part of your body. Next, move your attention up a little further to your belly, that probably on this day you've noticed quite a bit. And notice the feeling in your belly and your abdomen without judgment. Just feel what it feels like to notice that part of you. Next, move your attention up into your chest and your rib cage. Notice what you feel here, the center of your lungs that breathe and your heart that beats. Just attend to the feelings there. And next, your arms. Feel your arms all the way down to your hands. Notice where your arms are. Are they resting? Notice the muscles in your arms and your hands. Your hands that do so much work. Take a moment not to let them do work, just to notice their existence. Then move your attention to your neck and feel whatever it is you feel in your neck. Your neck that holds your head around, moves it about so you can take in all the world with your senses. Feel the muscles of your neck and your throat. And the air that passes down your throat. And next, move your attention up to your head and your face. Just feel anything you feel on your head or your face. And lastly, feel your entire body. Feel the outside of it. Feel your skin all over. And feel what you can feel just beyond the edge of your skin. And then feel what you feel deep within your body. The part that isn't affected by the outside. The part of you that is most central, wherever you imagine that to be. And last, breathe in and out. And when you're ready, if you wish, you can open your eyes once again.
Now that we've listened to our bodies, let us do a Shema and remember to continue to listen. I'm going to begin with a sounding Shema. Instead of doing every word, we're going to do every sound of the Shema, one at a time. And then we'll move into the traditional Shema. It has been said, and in the Sefer Yetzirah, the Shin, the Mem, and the Ayin are the mother letters, and they are the sounds that originally created the world.
So today we're coming out of the days of awe, the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is a time of reflection and a time of intention setting. The new year has just begun. This is the crossover time between the old year and the new, and a time to reflect upon the previous year and to set intentions for the upcoming year. So, some people spend that whole 10 days focused on that. If you have, great. If you haven't, well, take a moment now. And I'd like everyone to say out loud, in whatever word or words work for you, what intention you have for this upcoming year, whatever it may be. If you'd like to put it out into the universe for others to hear, you can type it into the chat box. If you don't feel called for that, then just say it out loud to whomever may be around you. And if no one is around you, just say it to the universe, and the universe will hear. So you can go ahead and do that now. I personally have the intention to cultivate joy in the upcoming year.
Avi, in the other room, is cultivating spelling. And I'm hoping to learn more presence in my body and in my space and self.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your intention and trust in Hashem for this year. And thank you to anyone else who perhaps shared their intention with the universe. The day of Yom Kippur is a day not just of being hungry, but a day to annihilate your soul. A day that all of your previous thoughts, commitments, obligations are all extinguished, and you can start afresh. And it's a day of returning back to your true self.
So we both have a couple poems to share, and I'm going to start with one that I actually saw go by on Facebook. My teacher, Jill Hammer, shared it. It's a bit long, and I'm a bit woozy, so you're going to have to bear with me, and I will try and speak up. I have no technological advice. It is not my thing. I can try and talk louder, and we seem to be streaming well on this end. So maybe somebody else here has better technological brain waves than I do. So this poem is Yom Kippur, 1984. I'll also get closer. By Adrian Rich. What is a Jew in solitude? What would it mean not to feel lonely or afraid, far from your own or those you have called your own? What is a woman in solitude? A queer woman or man? In the empty streets, on the empty beach, in the desert, what in this world, as it is, can solitude mean? The glassy concrete octagon suspended from the cliffs, with its electric gate, its perfected privacy, is not what I mean. The pickup with a gun parked at a turnout in Utah or the Golan Heights is not what I mean. The poet's tower facing the western ocean, acres of forest planted to the east, the woman reading in the cabin, her attack dog suddenly risen, is not what I mean. 3,000 miles from what I once called home, I open a book, searching for some lines I remember, about flowers, something to bind me to this coast as lilacs in the dooryard once bound me back there. Yes, lupines on a burnt mountainside, something that bloomed and faded and was written down, in the poet's book, forever. Opening the poet's book, I find the hatred in the poet's heart. The hateful-eyed and human-bodied are all about me. You that love multitude may have them. Robinson Jeffers' Multitude is the blur flung by distinct forms against these landward valleys. And the farms that run down to the sea, the lupines are multitude, and the torched poppies, the gray Pacific unrolling its scrolls of surf, and the separate persons, stooped over sewing machines and denim dust, bent under the shattering skies of harvest, who sleep by shifts in never-empty beds, have their various dreams. Hands that pick, pack, steam, stitch, strip, stuff, shell, scrape, scour belong to a brain like no other. Must I argue the love of multitude in the blur, or defend a solitude of barbed wire and searchlights, the survivalist's final solution? Have I a choice? To wander far from your own or those you have called your own, To hear strangeness calling you from far away and walk in that direction, long and far, not calculating risk. To go meet the stranger without fear or weapon, protection nowhere on your mind. The Jew on an icy, rutted road on Christmas Eve prays for another Jew. The woman in the ungainly, twisting shadows of the street. Make those be a woman's footsteps, as if she could believe in a woman's God. Find someone like yourself. Find others. Agree you will never desert each other. Understand that any rift among you means power to those who want to do you in. Close to the center, safety. Toward the edges, danger. But I have a nightmare to tell. I am trying to say that to be with my people is my dearest wish, but that I also love strangers, and that I crave separateness. I hear myself stuttering these words to my worst friends and my best enemies who watch for my mistakes in grammar, my mistakes in love. This is the Day of Atonement, but do my people forgive me? If a cloud knew loneliness and fear, I would be that cloud. To love the stranger, to love solitude. Am I writing merely about privilege, about drifting from the center drawn to the edges, a privilege we can't afford in a world that is, who are hated as being of our kind, faggot kicked into the icy river, woman dragged from her stalled car into the mist-struck mountains, used and hacked to death, young scholar shot at the university gates on a summer evening walk, his prizes and studies nothing availing his blackness, Jew deluded that she's escaped the tribe, the laws of her exclusion, the men too holy to touch her hand, Jew who has turned her back on midrash and mitzvah, yet wears the chai on a thought between her breasts, hiking alone, found with a swastika carved in her back at the foot of the cliffs. Did she die as queer or as Jew? Solitude, oh taboo, endangered species on the mist-struck spur of the mountain, I want a gun to defend you. In the desert, on the deserted street, I want what I can't have. Your elder sister Justice, her great peasant's hand outspread, her eye half-hooded, sharp and true. And I ask myself, have I thrown courage away? Have I traded off something I don't name? To what extreme will I go to meet the extremist? What will I do to defend my want or anyone's want to search for her spirit vision, far from the protection of those she has called her own? Will I find, oh solitude, your plumes, your breasts, your hair against my face as in childhood, your voice like the mockingbird's, singing, yes, you are loved, why else this song, in the old places? Anywhere. What is a Jew in solitude? What is a woman in solitude, a queer woman or man? When the winter flood tides wrench the tower from the rock, crumble the prophet's headland and the farms slide into the sea, when Leviathan is endangered and Jonah becomes revenger, when center and edges are crushed together, the extremities crushed together on which the world was founded, when our souls crash together, Arab and Jew, howling our loneliness within the tribes, when the refugee child and the exile's child reopen the blasted and forbidden city, when we who refuse to be women and men as women and men are chartered, tell our stories of solitude, spent in multitude, in that world as it may be newborn and haunted. What will solitude mean?
So that's a pretty dense poem. Let's take a moment just to sit with that and consider. I'm going to read another poem written for Yom Kippur as well. Our hearts have strayed. Our minds have wandered into dark forests filled with all manner of beasts dreadful to behold. Our fists have clenched, angered by the world and her injustices. We have gone out in search of the meanest depths of humanity, and we have found it. It's there. It has stolen our shoes, and it is chewing on our toes. It has ripped the shirt from our chests and left our skin pockmarked with the story of hatred, fear, loss. That story is our story. It is scars with braille, read by the fingers that touch your skin. Fingers that recoil. The world has stripped us naked and shaved our heads. Our strength has left us. We are hungry. Our throats are parched. This world is starving for beauty, for joy, for laughter. It has ripped the child's eyes from our skulls and stuffed the sockets with live-streamed 4G telecasts in HD with free roaming of the real world. The true unspeakable truths of humanity's most bitter voices. The Earth's most brutal catastrophes brought to you in part by hurricanes, war, earthquakes, and raging fires, and viewers like you. Our clothes have been chosen, our meals pre-frozen, the forests have been cleared, our palms have been seared, but our bagels have been pre-smeared with the finest quality fear. And yet, the white rhino may be gone forever, and yet, the rainforest is shrinking, and yet, the ice caps are melting, and yet, the child's eyes that were taken from us are still hiding in our belly buttons. That heart full of unabashed love still beats beneath your broken rib cage. That soul full of love still dances just beneath your scared and cracked skin. And so today, in the midst of the darkness, we can let out the light we've been hiding, squirreled away so deep it may have forgotten it was still there. It is. It is only with the brightness of our child's eyes full of wonder, awe, amazement, that we can see again the beauty of the world, to be reminded again of what it was that was worth fighting for. Today we might let out our soul so she can stretch her legs and dance to the rhythm of the moon. Today might we hold a seed and see the whole forest grown again inside her. Today might we unclench our hearts, that they may reach across the vastness of individual space and touch a stranger. And today, let our arms hug a tree, hug a loved one, hug the earth, hug the goddess herself. What day is there but today to return to your soul who laughs with the divine? Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are, return to who you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
I cannot currently access the chat, so if you're typing to me, I can't see it. But everything else appears to be working. So, I'm going to type this here too, just in case.
Just in case it does go through.
Oh, I can't even type in it. I guess I'm not going to do that. So, a friend, a fellow Kohenet student, wrote an Eli talk, and in writing her talk, she created Ken means yes, and it's discussing consent as a Jewish value and our role in that. And she asked Jewish communities to pledge for reading our version of this Talmud-based script at Yom Kippur. So that's what we're going to do next. And if you'd like to see more about it, it's Ken means yes, Ken means yes.org. Reflecting on this past year, we realize the need to shine a light on physical safety when it comes to intimacy in our community, something that ancient rabbis also considered.
When one person strays, when one person misses the mark, we all miss the mark. We are only as high as our lowest rung. Together we speak to raise awareness of these vital community standards.
We stand today to get us to set a standard together for the future, not to absolve the past.
Forgive us for the times we did not ask permission before touching another person's body. Forgive us for the times we sensed someone's fear and persisted with our own pleasure anyway. Forgive us for the times we heard a no and ignored it, persisting with our own pleasure anyway. Forgive us for the times we reached to touch another when we were filled with hatred. Forgive us for the times we were so inebriated we could not decipher whether the person we touched was saying yes or no. Forgive us for the times we turned a blind eye when we knew boundaries and bodies were being violated. And forgive us for not believing those that spoke up, their stories echoing ancient tales of transgression. For all the times we missed the mark, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, give us atonement. Ve'al kulam Eloha, selichot, selach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu.
This is not an act of pardon. It is a call to highlight our communal expectations of one another.
Amen. Together we strive for all to feel safe and to help others to feel safe in their bodies. This year, may we all be written in the book of life. Amen.
And when we atone, we do it as a community for several reasons. One is if one person does something wrong, we are all responsible. And also to give us a safe space to admit our transgressions, which can be shameful and embarrassing and painful. We all ask for forgiveness for that thing. Whether we did it or not, we are apologizing for our community and our loved ones and ourselves and all. We are asking for forgiveness for all, as if we are one. And I also recommend watching her Eli talk. Marissa Gershon.
And so, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us here when there are, I'm sure, many places you could have gone for Yom Kippur services. We appreciate you being here with us. And may you all be blessed in the new year.
And the sun is setting, almost, in Detroit, and I hope that wherever you are, it is also setting soon for you. And if not, I wish you an easy end to your fast and a meaningful